Hello, Cozy Detectives, and welcome to the Blanket Fort Files. I'm Joy,
And I'm Larissa.
and we're here to report on all things comfy and cozy. Larissa, hello!
We're talking about crafts. That's not our theme
Yay!
today. I realized I was going to sound like the theme. But
But we
our
both did
little,
crafts this week.
yes, our little chit chat at the beginning, Joy and I have some fun crafts to report on.
Yay!
You actually talked about yours on a previous episode.
I've been talking about it so much because
But it's
the thing that
awesome.
it is awesome, and honestly, it turned out amazing. The reason I feel like I've talked on it, what the on at least whatever I'm trying to say, y'all
Words
get it.
are hard.
Words are so hard for at least 3 episodes is because it kept kind of like expanding as a project. So the final Joy did it. Yoo-hoo, is it is a TV picture frame. Sorry, my brain got so confused because Yoo-hoo is in The Sims. It's something totally different. And my brain glitched so bad because the phrasing I did on that was so wrong.
Oh my gosh. It also reminded me of in Frozen where he's like, yoo-hoo, summer blowout.
Yoo-hoo, big summer blowout. Yeah, I love that guy. No, I finally, woohoo, yoo-hoo, did it frame for my TV, but I DIY'd it because I looked it up on Amazon and like they're like at least $300 for a
Yeah,
TV
they're so
frame. I would have never
expensive.
guessed that. Yeah. And so it just kind of kept expanding as a project because it was what it is like wall molding, not like crown molding, but like for the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cut that, but then I had to do wood filler, and then I had to stain it, and then I had to put it together, and then I had to put things on the back. So all of it's done and it looks amazing, and I'm so
Yes,
excited.
I love it so much. She was giving me all the like play-by-plays of your text. And I'm like, I'm so
Yeah,
proud of you.
I
I'm glad
know.
you were able to save your carpet.
Yeah, there was ups and downs of the project. It was a whole affair because I was sitting there in my living room and I was like, okay, I got the thing that was supposed to be like the easy to stain. It like says it on it, like no mess, no spill. And I was like, just in case, I put some cardboard underneath. And then like immediately, like I didn't even stain it, but I pushed down and I must have pushed too hard. Or no, I was squeezing the bottle. That's what it was. And the front just popped off.
Oh my
And then stain went everywhere. And it was literally like I froze and I was like,
no.
what do I do? And so I tried to
panic.
like super panic. And so then I was down there by myself for like 20 minutes trying to save it and save the carpet and save everything. And like it was, I guess I kind of got lucky because it is a stain that it didn't. And my carpet, I have learned I can never do just like a single color carpet. I have to do like patterned carpet.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like a pretty intricate pattern on it. So it kind of like helped like disguise it.
Oh,
And then I kind of
good.
like dabbed it out with water and I saved it. But like
Ew.
my husband was walking down the stairs and I was like, some mistakes were made. Just know that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh.
that was the video you sent me. And you're like, mistakes are made. And I was like, oh no. But you could
Yeah, but I
honestly couldn't
saved
really
it.
tell. So
Yeah. Oh, I'm so grateful because it was like right in front of the TV, which is, I was like, oh no.
oh,
But
on it.
all eyes. But also, you did an amazing craft project. That's like, what a wild goal to like do. How'd you get it? What is it? Explain it to us. I've never done it. Was it really, really warm?
So I went to a glass blowing workshop this past weekend.
So cool.
And I've been wanting to do it for a while. Have you ever watched the Netflix show Blown Away?
Yeah. I haven't watched it like religiously, but I've seen a couple episodes of it and it just looks like a crazy type of craft that, all right, explain it.
Yes. So I definitely think I'm going to do a case file if we do another little hobby show episode on that. Side note, because I am obsessed with Blown Away. But for those of you who don't know, that is a glass blowing competition show on Netflix. Highly recommend. But I've been wanting to do a workshop for a while, and there is a few places kind of near me that offer it. So I found one. I put it on my fall bucket list to do a glass blowing workshop.
Yay.
So I just went by myself, and it was really fun. They do most of it for you. So like I did a little bit, but if it was just me on my own, it would not look the way that it did. I should have grabbed it, but we can add in a picture.
Yeah, it turned out amazing.
So I
Amazing.
made a wine glass, and it's like a pink and white swirly pattern.
So cool.
And yeah, so that they like called me down. They kind of walk through the process of like, so basically it starts with these like glass beads almost kind of, or just like little tiny glass
Oh.
pieces. So you get the like the metal pole with like this thing on the end, and you get that super super hot, and then you dip it into the glass to pick it up, and you just kind of have to keep spinning the pole, and then you stick it into, it has an unfortunate name, it's called the glory hole.
Oh, that's the fire thing.
Yeah, but that's what
That's
it,
so
yeah,
funny.
like the oven basically that you stick it
Yeah.
in. So you kind of go in, and then they had you, and I was kind of scared for this part. So
Yeah.
you basically have like this thick stack of wet newspaper, and that's like the only thing like between your hand and the molten glass orb to kind of
Whoa.
shape it. I was like, I don't want to touch
Yeah,
but
scary.
I'd seen other people do it, so I was like, and they wouldn't like, if it was a potential to bring you, they wouldn't. But I was
Yeah.
still nervous. But no, it was really really fun. It was super quick. Like they just have like their little
Because you
system.
have to keep it moving too,
Yeah,
or else I just feel like it would like slump weird or something,
right.
right?
Yeah, and we got to kind of like shape it with the tongs, and the texture of the glass was so strange because it was very very
Ooh,
soft. Like I thought it was kind of
really?
based on like seeing the show or seeing glass flowing. I always thought it was like definitely malleable but kind of sticky, but it was so
Yeah.
soft to like shape it. It was just like a weird
Whoa.
sensation.
Whoa, that's crazy. I would have
Yeah.
thought sticky too. Like I literally was about to say sticky when you were like
Mhm.
thinking of, but yeah, soft. Huh? I would have never
Yeah.
guessed that.
So, and then they actually have like a mold at the end to kind of really define the shape. And then you kind of get this, like, you put your safety goggles on and you do this like laser blaster to really like seal the deal. So yeah,
Cool.
it was really fun, and they do all kinds of workshops. Like, I they were sold out by the time I found them, but they do like glass pumpkin ones.
Cute.
They do Christmas ornaments, so I think I'm going to try to go sometime in December to do one of those because I love Christmas.
Me too. I know that was another thing that was surprising. On our Instagram, we did the which Burr month are you? And we both
Hmm.
got December. I would have guessed, I don't know, I kind of would have guessed both of us would have been pretty close to at least like November-ish, but no,
Oh
we were
no,
both December.
I knew I was getting December before I even
Really?
started because winter is my
Mm.
season, Christmas is my holiday, so I was not
Oh.
surprised on my December.
Oh, I'm so excited because I feel like I don't know the Christmas hard loving side of Larissa yet. So I'm very
Hmm.
excited to meet her and all of her details of things. I'm so excited.
Yes.
But yes, that's so cool though. So how long did it take to, did they say like how long it actually takes to, I guess, dry is the word or
Yeah,
harden?
so it had to, I guess, cool down, cure. I don't know. They stuck it in this like giant thing. I don't even know what it was. It wasn't like a kiln where because you don't really like fire it again.
Yeah.
So the class was on Saturday, and the earliest you could pick it up was Tuesday. I didn't get to pick it
Mm,
up until the Wednesday, but yeah,
that's so
it
cool.
needed some time to cool down. So I guess on the show with filming, they probably, and they make really big pieces. Like it's super intricate and wild what they do. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming in between filming, there's quite a few days that pass to let all the pieces cool down.
Yeah, that's why. And even like connecting them and like creating like shapes and things like that, that just seems, that also seems like one of those things, kind of similarly to like wood carving or with like sculpture, like
Hmm.
rock carving of like you do one wrong like smack of something and like, oh, there goes that shape.
Right.
Like,
I don't get how, I guess, yeah, because all of them is some form of sculpting. I just don't get how you're able to take a blob of something and then turn it into anything that resembles anything in real life.
yeah. Have you heard, now I'm already taking us on a side
You're
trail. Have you
good.
heard of Michelangelo's quote?
Mm-mm.
Michelangelo's sculpture quote. Okay, let me see it. Is it Michelangelo? Maybe it's Da Vinci. Hold on, let me find it.
Maybe. They're both very talented.
It's something about like the whatever it is already in the marble. You just have to like take away anything that's not that.
Oh yeah,
So
I
like
think I have heard that quote. I know what
yeah,
you're
I'm kind
talking
of
about.
butchering it, but I'll find it and we can post it somewhere else. But that is
Have the
so
text
cool.
across the screen.
I know, right? Be like LOL. I thought about doing that when I'm editing, being like LOL Joy. It's actually this.
No, that would be so funny. Oh, love it. Well, we can get now into our actual theme, even though
Yes.
we had a theme of our catch up.
I know.
But today, very exciting, we are talking about some of our favorite, what we're calling cozy spies.
I'm so excited 'cause I don't know anything actually about your case file other than also Tom Hanks loves your case file too.
I did not know that. Oh, man has good taste.
I know.
But as a little sneak peek for mine, I did mention it in our first episode. So if you've been with us since then, or if you listened to our first episode, you may know what I'll be talking about. But Joy is going first today if you want to
Yeah.
get us started.
Yes. So my case file, it's been multiple things, but it is overall about Carmen Sandiego. It's been so many different iterations of things in the genre of Carmen Sandiego. So I have a little bit of the history of it. And then I'm going to focus mainly on the TV show because there's a few iterations of the TV show. And it's the thing that I think, even though we love video games, and I've talked about that, we both talked about that in previous case files, I feel like the TV show to me just feels so nostalgic in seeing a couple episodes of it on
Yeah.
YouTube. So in 1980, the brothers Doug and Gary Carlson created Broadburn, I think is what it's called, and it is a software company. Within
Mm.
that company, they were creating a lot of different video games. And then in 1985, they released the first Carmen Sandiego game, and it was an immediate smash hit.
Wow.
So it very quickly became their number one selling game.
That's so
And
cool.
then, right. And then I think this is really cool because it, the reason that it became so widespread and widely known, specifically in the United States, is because it got picked up by a lot of teachers and parents
Mm.
for their computer lab sections,
Yeah, I
which
grew up playing it.
right. And I think that's where we're like, we all know Carmen Sandiego is from the computer lab. It's very similarly to, did you do Oregon Trail? Did you have that in
Mm-hmm.
your computer lab?
Oregon
Yeah.
Trail, Math
Math Blast.
Blasters, Clue
Yes.
Finders, like,
There's one with a fish too. I can't think of what that fish one
oh,
was.
Freddy was not Freddy Fish.
Yes.
Yes,
I think it's Freddy Fish.
with and then Putt Putt, the little car. Oh,
Yeah.
now we're gonna go in
So
a nostalgic computer game rabbit hole. Oh, love
I
it.
know. It was just a good time. But after it kind of hit the computer labs in 1989, they had four more games that were already released
Wow.
after that first initial game. It had where in the US, A is Carmen Sandiego. I almost forgot the word A. Is Carmen
US
Sandiego.
would have worked.
Yeah, US would have worked. Where in Europe is Carmen Sandiego. Where in time is Carmen Sandiego. And then also where in North Dakota is Carmen
That's
Sandiego.
so random. What? North
I know.
Dakota.
I know.
What is
Well, I
even
mean,
in North Dakota? Sorry if you.
apparently Carmen
I
Sandiego is
guess
somewhere
so.
there.
If you were a cozy detective that lives in North Dakota, let us know.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi,
But
where you hiding, Carmen?
I
But
think the two games that I like had because we played it at school, but I actually physically had some
ooh,
growing up. I definitely know the. I think it was where in the whole it was the whole world one.
yeah.
With like the different colored robots. I don't know if you played that one. I'll talk
I
about it
didn't.
at the end.
Yeah, do it.
And then I think I had like a I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up, but it was like a vocabulary word
Ooh,
one. I think I'll look it up before the
yeah.
end.
I would not be surprised about those type of things. So the thing that I think is really cool that I didn't know as a kid, and I feel like this is one of those times where when it comes to the computer labs or when it comes to math blasters, like obviously math blasters, you knew that you were learning math, but in
Right.
Carmen Sandiego, I don't think I specifically realized that it's geography focused, like US and like worldwide geography focused of
Yeah.
like I know you're looking for her, where is she, obviously, but the reason that they started down this trail is because at the time it was like one in four kids or 3 out of the 4 couldn't figure out where the Pacific Ocean was on a map. So they were trying to like
Mm.
solve a problem, but in like a really fun, interactive type way.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the video game, after those 4 came out, they were in talks with Disney to create a TV show, which eventually got declined. I'm not sure from which side declined it, but then they
Mistake.
got, yeah, right. Super mistake, because then they got advice by somebody to connect with PBS, because
Mm.
PBS is like USA
Educational.
nationwide educational. Yeah, exactly. And they were advised to sell it for $1
What?
because I know. So they sold the rights. Actually, they gave it away for free. So they didn't even charge a whole dollar for it at the time.
Wow.
Because what they were thinking is that it's basically like free advertising for their
Mm-hmm.
video game. And for, I think they also had a board game at the time. So it was
Mm,
basically
okay,
free advertising for that. And
that's
so if you
true.
liked this TV show, maybe you'd also like this video game, which I feel like I don't know of another franchise that has done that, just like given away the rights to something.
Right. Or even that, I'm trying to think, has there been, I'm sure probably in like the Mario sphere of like started as a
Hmm.
game and then went to a TV show. Like I know they're starting to do movies with that, but I think
Yeah, and
probably,
very successful.
yeah, I think probably though at that time, that probably would have been one of the first ones, I'm assuming.
The TV show of it ended up being PBS's either like, because also that had like very lovingly watched shows, but for it is a kids game show is
Hmm.
what the TV show is, and that ended up being one of the highest watched shows because they put it the after school special style. So they had it on after school so kids would come home and you could watch it. It was the years of 1991 to I think 1995, so it was on for about 4 or 5 seasons. And what the way that they created it is they surveyed about 900 kids and then they learned what kids would like to see in a TV show, which was adventure, silly characters, comedy, cool prizes, animation, and music.
Love it.
And right. And I think that like also like get to know your target market, you know, like if you want kids to watch it, like what are kids wanting to watch on
Right.
TV? Um, and then it was really cool because it first started only on 2 PBS stations. So only 2 cities originally started it. And then because it was such, the TV show as well was such a big hit that by the end, I think it was like 98% of PBS stations had this
Wow.
show on.
That's awesome.
I think it was over 5 million kids watched at least once a week this show, which is focused around geography and knowledge. And they quizzed kids. So there
Love it.
was the kind of setup for the show is 3 kids would get chosen, but you first had to take a quiz before you got on the TV show.
You had
So
to
they
prove
quiz
it.
you. Yeah. It's kind of like a kid's version of what's the word? He's like, Alex, I'll take
Oh,
blah, blah, blah for
Jeopardy.
300. Yeah, there you go.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a kid's version of Jeopardy, but geography focused. And it's really like fun and kind of silly, but not talking down to kids. It's just
Hmm.
very entertaining. It's still slower paced than like all of the camera angles of everything because it's still that game show feeling. But the kids were called rookie detectives, and it was hosted by quote unquote Acme special agent in charge of training new recruits. And then eventually you all reported to the chief. So Greg Lee was the host. He had also hosted Double Dare. He was the co-host of that for a little bit
Love
before.
Double Dare. But
Right? I'm like, I
for
have no recollection
me,
of that guy.
yeah, I was like, no, it's Mark Summers. He is Mr. Double
Yeah.
Dare.
Yeah. But apparently Greg was also there. And then for the chief, they had envisioned this role going to, she was a film and theater actress, Lynn Thingpen. I'm going to say her last name incorrectly,
That's
but
fine.
yeah, right? I'm trying. She was also Luna on Bear in the Big Blue House from 97 to
I love that one
2003.
too.
I know. Unfortunately, she passed in 2003.
Aw.
But she was in The Bicentennial Man as the president. She was in Anger Management as the judge. And then she was the voice of the chief also in the 1998 video game, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. So it's interesting because she played a lot of like high level, like the
Yeah.
chief, the president, like the judge. But she fits the part so well. And she's the person out of rewatching, because I found one episode on YouTube that I
Hmm.
rewatched, and she's the person that sticks out the most in my brain. So it's interesting that while they wanted her and created this role for her, because it was such a really rough schedule that I was going to be filming. She initially turned it down, and then basically had to take her out to brunch and be like, hey, can you please can you please do
bribe her
this?
with brunch.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be 65 episodes in 3 months, which equals about 3 episodes a day of filming.
Wow.
That is
That's
a
so
lot.
much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's PBS, so there's no commercials, so it's about 27 minutes for the episode, which is wild.
That's crazy.
And then after she said yes, they also were trying to input the music aspects of it. And I can't remember which brother, but I think one of the brothers said that he saw, where was it at? He saw a Spike Lee directed PBS documentary called Do It Acapella, which had a group called the Rockapella. And
Cute.
then he asked them to be part of the show because they wanted to specifically include like rap into the show, but for a way that kids would really find entertaining. So
Mm-hmm.
that group was a very large part of the show. So if you're thinking of like music from your childhood in that, it is probably Rockapella who you're thinking of, which is
Super
like
cute.
an acapella rock group who would like basically freestyle. Like sometimes they were given only a few hours before the episode filmed to like come up with an entire rap for this
Wow.
part of the episode. So they were having to come up with it really quick.
That's impressive.
I know. So if you're curious about what the prize of this show is, it makes sense. But in my brain, I always think like, oh, they're going to give the kids money. And I'm like, I don't know why I think that. But no, you get a prize trip to anywhere. And they specifically said the lower 48 states.
No
So
Hawaii
like,
for you.
yeah, no Hawaii, no Alaska.
That's
But
funny.
I know that was season 1. Once they got a bigger budget, they did include all of North America, and I did see that one kid picked Mexico. So I don't know if anybody picked Canada, but I would presume somebody did.
Yeah. I love how the
But
prize is, because the show is so revolved around geography, that the prize was
yeah,
also to travel and like quote unquote
it's
experience the
cute.
geography. I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's really cute too because the third prize is you get a world atlas, a 1-year subscription to National Geographic. If that doesn't say the 90s, I don't know what does.
Truly.
You get a Carmen Sandiego watch, and then you also get a Carmen Sandiego sweatshirt. And I tried to find it because I was like, oh, I want that sweatshirt.
Right. Like eBay.
Right? There's one on eBay. There's 150, and I was like,
Uh,
I don't know if I want Carmen that much.
valid.
Right? Your second prize is you get all of the third prize winnings, and you also get a pocket translator, and you get a radio.
Cute.
So cute. And so in order to win the trip, you have to be the top out of the 3 kids to kind of like win against that.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, they walk you onto the stage. And this is the part that I remember the most is they walk you onto the stage and you're kind of standing on either like a US map or like a world map.
Oh, I
And
kind of
you're
remember that too.
yeah, and you're giving clues and you're trying to like place things, and it's like 30 to 45 seconds, and you're trying to run around and place flags in all these different places, giving clues like Louisiana, and so you're trying to run and place like a flag in Louisiana, and then they're like North Dakota, and you're like you're trying to place a flag in North
Of course,
Dakota.
they love North Dakota.
I know, and it's really cute too because if you don't get it, they're like try again, try again.
They're very supportive.
Yeah, because one of them for the world map, there was this little kid trying to find North Korea, and he just kept putting it on different. Then try again, try again. I know, but if you win, then you get to pick the place. But you already wrote down your place previously, so then it's revealed to everybody where you're going.
Fun.
It's cute because he like has this big book, and it makes more sense to me now because I remember thinking like, why is the handwriting so bad? But it's a little kid. You're like 11 years old writing down like Arizona. And then you like show it.
Cute.
It's very, very cute. After that, also, one of the reasons that you can't really find it that much if you're looking for it on a streaming is because in 1991, 1992 time, the world map was actually changing so rapidly because of geopolitical, I guess, kind of like unrest. That they were having to put at the end of episodes, like at the time of recording this is what the world map looked like. They were having to put that at the end of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we grew up in the 90s. So even I think when we were starting to learn world geography, like I remember learning about places that definitely don't exist now where, you know, there's new places, which I just think is always interesting. But like as a little side fact about little Larisa, when I was in the 2nd grade, so my elementary school, we did like an end of the year program where we would sing little songs about things we learned. Did you ever watch Animaniacs?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know, like the really fast world song, we all
Hmm.
had to perform that in the second grade.
Whoa, that is wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like a lot of remembering for little kids. I also specifically have memory, it was later on, but the debate on Pluto, is Pluto a
Oh,
planet or not?
I know. I have a magnet on my fridge that says revolve in peace, Pluto. And it has like the years that was considered a planet. It's still a
That's
planet in
hilarious.
my heart forever.
I think it's back. Like it
I
was like
hope
gone for a
so.
hot minute and then back. I remember it from Psych because the one of the main characters on there, Dulé Hill, is the actor, and he was always like that's messed up for Pluto. And I was always like, I love it. It's so good.
Truly.
But yeah, and so also Carmen Sandiego. So that was like the one of the main core shows. It also spawned a show after that. So that show lasted about 4 seasons, and then it was also during that time picked up internationally. So other countries kind of created their own version of the
Hmm.
show. And then in 1995, when when in Time is Carmen Sandiego is created, and that lasted for 2 seasons. And then actually Netflix in 2019 created an animated show, and that was on for 4 seasons.
Hmm.
So Carmen Sandiego's still out there causing havoc,
Love
I
her.
guess. I know. I didn't know that she was technically like the villain. I think it's like the I Spy thing where like my brain just didn't connect that like you're trying to find Carmen Sandiego because she's like stealing stuff and they're like
Oh,
stealing
I don't think
artifacts
I
from around the
realized
world.
that either.
Right? In my
I
mind,
still
I'm
love
like,
her.
I'm Carmen Sandiego. And
Right?
I'm like,
I
wait,
wanted
we're
you
supposed to
wanted
be
to
like, no, no, no.
But no, I was gonna say we wanted to be her. We wanted to like we
Yeah.
looked up to her, but I think that also is just like one of those like feminine icons we
Right?
had. She was really smart.
Very. Yeah. She's, because the thing is that her and her like gang of baddies are like stealing artifacts and like the Mona Lisa and things like that from around the world. And you're trying to stop them. So you're trying to find where she's at to like, I think like put her in jail or something. But in my mind, I was always playing as Carmen Sandiego. So it's interesting thinking back because I'm like, I have some memories that are flip floppy from little
Right. It's
Joy.
so funny
I
how
don't know
like
what she's doing.
we rewrite that, but also I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, well, if she was going into museums, maybe she was stealing the stuff that was like not supposed to be there. So maybe,
Yeah. She's Indiana Jonesing it. Like,
yeah,
this should be
maybe
in a
she's
museum.
actually good.
You
And
know?
we were
You
told
know?
she was not.
So true. But that is the TV show versions of it. It was just really fun because thinking back, I think a hard thing now would be if you have a kid, I don't think it would be as accurate to have a kid watch it because, again,
Yeah.
all of the changes that were happening. But it's really good child entertainment where, like, while not talking down to kids, but while still being like quirky and funny and interacting with adults, but not in a like any weird way or anything. So
Hmm.
I really enjoyed rewatching an episode of it. And some of those kids knew things like which country is surrounded by 6 different things. I'm like, I don't know. And then they're like, Albania, right? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Good job, kid.
That's something because I also grew up. I don't know if you got this channel. It was like specifically a cable channel, but it was the Nickelodeon games and sports, like Night Gas, and there was like a ton of kids game
Ooh.
shows on there.
Yes.
And I just maybe I'm wrong because I don't have a kid, so I don't watch kids entertainment. But like, do they still make kid game
I
shows?
don't know.
Because I feel like, well, some of them were a little bit more silly, zany. There was a
Yeah.
lot that are revolved around learning and education
Mm-hmm.
and knowledge. And obviously, there's still educational shows on now, but I'm wondering if those still a thing. If you have kids
Yeah.
or
Let
younger
us know.
siblings, please let us know if there's still educational kid game shows out there. I would love to check them out.
Right. And I think that's the thing is I really like that it was under the edutainment category. So it was very
Mhm.
educational, but it was also very entertaining.
Right.
And I feel like as a kid, especially during that like heyday of kids game shows, I feel like this is a really good one to be in the mix. And I really like that it was so popular
Hmm.
that like kids from around, I think more specifically the US, but it also again was so popular that it was international. So kind of kids from around the world watching this just as a good, I don't know, thought of the 90s.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get to watch it in the time period just because of the time period that it came out in, but it's one of those where I really kind of wish I did because I would have for sure enjoyed
Yeah, I
it.
think I caught an episode here or there, but I
Yeah.
think we
Like
were
a
both
replay.
a little too young when it was like first
Yeah.
airing. But that
Yeah.
was so fun.
That was fun. I'm so excited to learn about yours.
So I had one of the Carmen Sandiego games. I think I had a couple ones, but the one that I remember playing the most was called Carmen Sandiego's Think Quick Challenge. So I think there was definitely those like four original, and then I think they started making more offshoots of it.
Yeah.
So this one, there were all of these, like each robot was a different color. And so you played as an agent. And again, I
That's probably why we think
thought,
it.
well, I think that's
Yeah.
why I thought it was Carmen was the good guy, because I thought, agent, you're on her side. But the
Yeah.
robots, I think, were on her side. But basically, each colored robot was in charge of a different trivia subject. So, like,
Cool.
purple would be over like math, or red would be like the fine arts. And so they would ask you a question, and as the agent you would have to like answer their question, but if they stumped you, then the robot would win.
Like it also
And
reminds me of like, remember Mavis Beacon? That was like another one of those things at the time. So was it like you had to like quickly type in your answer or
Sometimes it was type in. I think a lot of it was like a multiple choice. But
gotcha.
there were also kind of like mini challenges,
Mm.
because when you mentioned like the Mona Lisa and going around the world, that was this one. Like we would be going to different cities. And so you would try to like get past the robot. Like there was one,
Mm.
I remember like visually, it would like spin around in a circle, which sounds silly, but it had these like lasers coming out of its eyes, and you had to basically like move when the laser weren't on you, and so
Oh,
it wouldn't
nice.
like get you.
Like getcha. That's so fun. I love just like unlocking these like childhood memories of different
Yeah, I haven't
things
thought
or
about that game in a very long time.
right. That's so fun. I know. I feel like the one that I was playing definitely was Math Blasters around them because I remember like little aliens. That's like the biggest thing that I remember of Math Blasters. But there's kids too, but some of these photos look creepy. But
Yeah, I need
anyway,
to. Let me actually look and see if this is, because I remember playing Math Blasters, but the guy that I'm picturing in my head.
it's like a little boy. There was another one
No,
that was
okay.
like
I did play.
trackers or something.
Yeah, I did play this game. Oh, yeah, that alien guy
Yeah,
looks
that's one I remember.
familiar. Oh, now I'm trying to think of what the one I'm thinking of is. It
I
like
because you were like Indiana Jones ish, right? Like you're
no.
like in the
So he would
jungle.
like no, this one he was in like it was like an abandoned like building, and you never saw his face. He had like a red baseball hat over his eyes and like a blue jacket, and he had this little like zapper he would
Oh,
have. I'll look it up later.
yeah. I'm so interested. You'll have to post it or let me know or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Jumping back in. All right. So my case file is Harriet the Spy. Tap, tap, tap. Insert the little clicky clacky noises here. Joy and Post will be like, got it. So, this is a Nickelodeon movie that was released in 1996. It was directed by Bronwyn Hughes, and this is a big movie for a lot of people involved. So, it was her first feature film as a director. It was Michelle Trachtenberg, who is the main actress. It was her first feature film, and it was also Nickelodeon's first feature film. So, a lot of firsts
Whoa.
around. So Michelle plays Harriet, who is the main character. She is a sixth grader who wants to grow up to be a spy and a writer. So she
Mm.
carries around a notebook and writes down basically anything she observes. She loves people watching, and she'll take little observation notes on them.
Cute.
So her kind of spying is really just like people watching, but sometimes she'll sneak. It sounds bad. She sneaks into people's houses in a couple of times, which sounds creepy, but it's
No,
a
I love
kids
it.
movie, so it
It's
makes
one of those.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. When you're like, I'm a kid, it's fine. I can grab a cab, or I can sneak into people's houses. And then now you're like, don't sneak into my house, small child. What are you doing?
Right. Small child. What are you doing here? Which I'll get into the actress who plays the woman whose house she sneaks into, because she's a very iconic actress in real
Oh, I'm
life.
excited. I can't believe I never saw this. I thought it was a book this whole
It
time.
is. It is. We'll get
Oh,
into
okay.
that.
Okay.
But so Harriet always, when she's doing like her official like spying, she wears this oversized yellow raincoat that's kind of like her detective or spy coat instead of like the
Cute.
traditional trench coat. She's in her little rain slicker.
Cute.
And just as a little fun fact, they actually started filming on her 10th birthday.
Oh, how
Yeah.
cute. I'm just gonna say that this whole time.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that it's just so cute and sweet. So Harriet lives in New York City, and her parents are kind of the stereotypical like rich, well-off, very distant, don't really engage in her life kind of parents. She has a nanny played by Rosie O'Donnell, and the
Mm.
character's name is Ol Golly, but they mostly just call her Golly. And so Harriet has two best friends, Sport and Janine. And I really love the Janine character. She wants to be a mad scientist when she grows up. So she's always doing these little like chemical experiments in her bedroom.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
cute.
very cute.
It
Um,
feels like Get a Clue. Do you remember that with
mhm,
Lindsay Lohan?
yes,
That's like the vibe I'm getting,
it's
but
very
like
similar energy.
5 years younger. Yeah.
Yes. So Harriet and Golly's relationship is very important to the story because Golly just kind of encourages Harriet to very much be a kid, to write as much as she can, to just explore, create, have an imagination. So she really wants her to kind of, when she does her observations, like look at people through different perspectives and different points of view because
Hmm,
growing up
that's
wealthy,
good.
she kind of is taught one thing and Golly's like, no, this just because you so for example, there one of her neighbors is this older man who has a bunch of cats, and so people kind of
Mm.
think
Or like,
ill of
you're
him.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she sees him being like really sweet and kind to all of the like neighborhood stray cats, and so
Oh,
Harriet's like, no, he's actually like a cool guy.
cute. What a good thing for kids to learn of like, don't
Right.
judge a book by its cover. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, cute.
Yeah. So in a big part of the movie, Golly takes Harriet out to a movie one night and they go out past Harriet's bedtime. So then the mom and dad get really mad and they fire Golly. And so she, oh my gosh, this scene, like now, like thinking about it, like makes me want to cry because like it basically, like Rosie is sitting like with her luggage, like in the rain, and they say goodbye
Oh,
under an umbrella and she basically just tells Harriet like it's time for you to like be on your own and grow up on your own, and you're just like
oh, not
so
ready.
sad because they have such a good relationship, like the two of them. And I'll get into this later on, but doing some research and interviews, it seems like they Michelle and Rosie had that kind of chemistry in real life too.
Oh, cute.
So the a lady who it's this
Oh, yeah.
really fancy, rich, extravagant lady that Harriet sneaks into like a dumbwaiter. Like, do you remember like that was such a big part of like
Yeah.
kids' movies were
Every kid's,
dumbwaiter?
yeah. Speaking of, like, that's what I was thinking of is very similar to the Mary Kate and Ashley. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're always in some dumb waiter, like, type of cart thing. Like, what are y'all doing?
But that woman is Eartha Kitt. That
Really?
yes.
Oh my gosh. I have to look this up now.
Yeah, she has this like extravagant like robe and the nails. Um,
Oh my gosh.
and the
Wait, is she the actress who plays the voice in
Emperor's New Groove, Yzma.
Yes, yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yes. And then she's an
Wow. Oh, I love
amazing
her.
singer too. Like I
Yeah.
just her
Oh, I didn't
voice
know
is
that.
so good. But in
So
an
cool.
interview, Michelle talked about how in real life Eartha kind of scared her a little bit just because she was like
Oh.
really into character. And so she was like, no, you're actually a little intimidating.
This is a little much, lady.
Yeah.
Cute.
Um, but you were right. It is based on a book. So the book was written in the 60s by Louise Fitzhugh. And it's a
Mm.
very similar plot. They made very small changes to the movie, mostly so that the biggest difference is just like Harriet's relationship with her parents, because parents in the 60s and parents in the 90s, obviously there were changes there.
Yeah.
But one thing in doing research for this that I loved finding out, that this book was actually one of Rosie O'Donnell's favorite books growing up. So when she was
Oh,
offered the part, immediate yes, didn't even read the script. She was like, sold, I want to do this role. Absolutely.
oh, what a dream to be like, just
Right.
love a book as a kid and they get to be in the movie.
And as like the best character, because
Yeah.
so I want to talk about one of my favorite scenes, and then I have a quote about the director that I think really ties into the scene, but just kind of the overall theme of the movie. Um, so this is before she gets fired, but Golly takes not Michelle, Harriet and her two friends to, I don't know what it's technically called, but it's like this wind chime garden. So it's this lady's
Ooh.
like eclectic, whimsical garden backyard thing. And there's like bubbles and kaleidoscopes, and there's this box of ties, and they tie them up onto a tree. And so the scene is just kind of about being a kid, exploring, having fun, using your imagination. So there's like a little montage of them just kind of like playing around. And
Cute.
side note, you'll need to look it up because Golly's outfit is so good. It's this like red
Ooh.
coat, and she has this little red beret that she wears. I love it. It's so fall.
Aw. I love that. Let me
Um,
look up.
but
Keep
she
going.
grabs this like bottle of soda and starts shaking it up so that she'll like spray the kids, and she tells them to toast to what they want most in the world. So they get it and they shake it up, and then they drink from the soda like it was
Cute.
champagne or something. And because I love my girl Janine, she says she wants to replicate her own DNA and win the Nobel Prize.
Yes, girl, get
I
it.
know. I love my little scientist. And then Harriet is like, I want to see the whole world and write down everything. And it's just so
Aw.
cute. I love it. Oh, I
That's
just love it. It's
cute.
one of those movies where I think the message can relate to you at any stage of life. Like I find as an adult, I've gone back to it a couple times, and I think that message of just like finding joy, and I know that's kind of the goal of our
Yeah.
podcast, but finding these moments to connect back to your inner child, I think
Yes.
are really important. But the quote that I wanted to share was by the actress who plays the mean girl in the movie.
Aw.
And she's is talking about the director, and she was saying when she would direct us, if we were walking, she's like, okay, you'll go bop bop this way, then bop bop this way. She was always dancing. I don't remember her not dancing on set, and music was always playing. It was very cool, and in terms of performance art, she was pretty ahead of her time. It was a great way to also direct children. It was a way to keep things alive, which was when she was older. Like it
Yeah.
kid's not being that profound, but
Yeah.
I think just how the director was on set kind of speaks to the whole theme and feel of the movie.
Yes, that's the tone for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
And then, so when I was doing some research, so Rosie obviously had her talk show, and Michelle came on it to promote the movie. And they just kind of acted how I would imagine Harriet and Golly would in real life. Like,
Cute.
Harry can't talk anymore. Rosie was like kind of jabbing at her a little bit, like, oh, I never got invited to Hard Rock Cafe, because I guess Harriet got to go there to promote the movie, and they were just kind of like joking around with each other. And so Rosie asked her to introduce the movie, and Michelle was like, roll it. And Rosie was like, wait, you have to like talk about it first. It was just
Cute.
very like a sweet relationship. And I'd like to think that obviously, that was for press, but I like to think in real life that they were, you know, good
Yeah.
friends too.
Oh, that's so cute. I like that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. I feel like as soon as I looked it up, I remember the movie poster of her. You're kind of like
with the
almost like
magnifying
underneath her with
glass.
the yeah, she's
Mm-hmm.
like magnifying glassing you. But I don't know why. I don't think I've ever watched that. Is it set in any particular, like obviously like the 90s ish or early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
but is it set in a specific season?
Um, Sorry, my eyes like watering.
You're okay.
Not crying over Harriet the Spy.
That's okay. I cried earlier today. That's fine.
um, I not necessarily. I think there's like fallish elements because she wears the coat and it's
That's what I was
rainy.
thinking. Yeah.
A good chunk of it is set during school. I didn't really get into that part of it, but Harriet does kind of tussle with the mean girl a little bit and has to learn her own lessons about her friendship and who she is as a person. But I think it's a good movie to watch, honestly, any time of the year. I'm not for sure, but I would assume it's on Paramount since it's with
Hmm.
Nickelodeon. And I know Paramount's kind of like the parent company of that.
Oh, cool. Yes. Okay, that is added to my list. My list is growing of many movies I need to watch. But I don't know how I missed
Same.
that. I don't know.
It's such a good one. Um, but yeah, I just find it cozy for the lessons of exploration and imagination and kind of getting to be what you want to be when you grow up. And yeah, that's Harriet the
Ah,
Spy.
I love it. That's so interesting because I just watched an episode of One Tree Hill today where one of the characters kind of has to choose between they're in high school, but she kind of has to choose between, okay, do I want to kind of be launched into this adult world or
Mm-hmm.
do I want to stay my age and be like a teenager like with my friends? And her decision, like it was like a good cry, but it made me cry. And so it's so interesting
Aw.
that it's a very similar feeling of just enjoying the stage of life that you're in and like
Exactly.
really
That's a
being
good way of putting
present
it.
and allowing the whimsy in that season. And obviously for kids, like you kind of just are a whole little bundle of whimsy in the best case scenarios. But I love that. What a good moral of the story for kiddos.
Yes. You want to get into 2%?
Yes. So speaking of kind of whimsy, I mean it's food related, but I went to Trader Joe's and did my annual Trader Joe's day where I just buy all the things.
Fun.
I know. It was actually really fun. I think I was just kind of having like a little bit of an iffy day that day,
Mm.
which I think is also the point of the 2% of just doing something that brings that joy. But I was having a little bit of an iffy day, but it was like, okay, we said we were going to go today. And so I just went there and it was so fun. And I walked through all of the aisles. And if you follow over on Instagram, I posted some photos of it because I was like, what should I get? What am I going to get? Like,
Yeah.
they had a lot of gluten-free options this year, which I
Oh,
really
nice.
like. I feel
Yeah.
like that expanded a little bit because in the past years it hasn't been as many, but it's really good if you're in the US. Speaking of where in the USA, um,
North
there's a really
Dakota.
North Dakota. If
Does
you're in
North
North
Dakota have
Dakota,
a Trader Joe's? Let
I
us
would guess
know.
so.
We have a
This is
list.
just
A list of questions
yes,
for those of you who live in North Dakota. Please let us
North
know everything.
Dakotaans. Yes, let us know. But it was really fun. I got the muffins, the gluten-free like
Mm,
strudel muffins are delicious.
love
I
it.
got I actually bought a wild amount of tea last year, so I did not buy any tea because I
Fair.
literally bought like 7 tins. Like
Oh
I
my
bought way too
gosh.
many tins. So I'm having tea every night to try to get
Yeah.
through it. But it was really fun and I enjoyed it and it was just a nice moment. And the cashier obviously was very nice. So it was just fun to like, I don't know, just have my little autumn cozy outing.
Yeah, I know.
So
I
2%.
still want to go get all the fall goodies. I It's hard because the one that's closest to me is where we get like really, really bad traffic
Mm.
around rush hour. So
Ooh,
going on the weekend is always so stressful because it's really crowded and
I have a hot take.
I don't know why they always make the parking lots a
Tiny.
nightmare. Every Trader Joe's has a horrible parking lot and the store is really cramped. Although they did remodel recently, it's a little bit better. So if I'm going to go to Trader Joe's and like for the fall haul, it would
Yeah.
definitely be worth it. But
So
I
this
have to
is
like psych myself up to do it.
so to help you out a little bit, this is so random, but I have asked multiple grocery store, like employees at multiple grocery stores,
hmm
what is the best day to come to go grocery shopping
hmm
without like wild amounts of people? And they've all said Tuesday evening. So that's when I go. I go Tuesday
Mm,
nights to
good to
grocery
know.
stores. Yeah, they say just the least amount of people and traffic and all that. So
Yeah.
especially for Trader Joe's with their parking lots, I'm just a Tuesday night kind of
So
girly.
stressful. Trader Joe's, you're a cozy store, but your parking lot is not cozy. Fix that,
I know.
please.
Specifically in North Dakota. Figure it out.
Watch, that's like where the Trader Joe's headquarters is.
That'd be amazing for the amount we've talked about North Dakota.
Love it.
What is your 2%?
So mine 2% exists because of you. I got
you got it.
Yes. Joyce sent me this and I got it in the mail today.
I'm so glad it made it.
Yes.
I stuffed that thing. I thought it would go with your collection.
I know. I like opened it and was like, oh my gosh. So I didn't want to tell you that I got it today. I was like, I'm going to save this for 2%. But
did you get your second package yet?
Not yet. But
there's a second.
I haven't checked my, I had to go to the post office, but I haven't checked my physical mail yet. So if it's in there, I will go and see.
Yeah, text me. I want to know what you think of it.
But I think I might have talked about this on pod, but if I haven't, I am collecting colorful glassware. So this will go very nicely. So thank you for thinking of me when you found it.
That looks like fall flowers.
Yes. Yeah, I think it would make a really cute vase, especially like in spring or summer.
Yeah, that's why I like that color of green. It's probably going to be like the next millennial gray for me, but I just like love it, and I get that green in so many things, and because I feel like it's good for winter. Like you can have it be wintry, you can have it be fall-y because you can mix and match it with the fall leaves, and then it's kind of more like a spring color.
Yeah, it's
what am I saying? Good. Spring and summer color. So
you got it right. It's very like year round. I'm excited to show my sister because green is her favorite color, so I know she's gonna love it too. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
Oh no, did I freeze? Did I freeze? Did you freeze?
Just for a second.
It froze on you on my end, and you were like mid laugh. You're like, ah! And I was like, oh no.
Looks so creepy.
And then we're going to talk about our Cozy Detectives 2% as well. Yay. So we have a few more to share today. We have Flies Like Vulture Man, and their 2% was swapping out the hand towels in their bathroom and kitchen for their Halloween ones, which always love getting to bring up the holiday towels or little holiday decors. And kind of like we talked about in our How to Have a Cozy Fall episode, you don't have to do a big overhaul and massive amounts of decorations. Even if it's just changing the towels out, can definitely bring a little bit of holiday coziness. And then Noelle Woolaway, if I said that right, I thought this was very sweet. She made cookies and cream Rice Krispie treats for her neighbors.
Oh, yes, we just talked about that in an episode. Oh, yeah, look at her go.
Like extending the 2% coziness to those around her. So really enjoyed hearing about that. So yeah.
Yes. And then also, as the reminder for our Cozy Detectives, you can send your 2% cozy, which is so funny because it feels so PBS. Send in your 2% cozy on our Instagram. I know. On our Instagram or our email. Our email is blanketfortfiles@gmail.com. And then our Instagram, we also link under all of the episodes. That is Blanket Fort Files
Pod. Yes.
Pod. Okay.
Yeah. Pod on pod. It's confusing. Instagram has pod. We originally just made the Instagram Blanket Fort Files, but then we're like, we should add the pod so people know we're a podcast. But the Gmail was already made, so hopefully it's not too confusing. But both will be on the show notes. So make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Please leave us a review because your feedback does help us out so much. Join us next week in the Blanket Fort where we're going to discuss the coziness of our favorite autumn books.
Yay! Mine's kind of cozy.
I think so. There's cozy elements of it.